Hi, this is CH. This video is part of a series of videos titled My ABCs, or Absolutely Biased Comments, to share how an individual investor like you and I can try to find out more about an investment fund from public sources and do some basic research or simple due diligence before deciding to buy the fund or walk away. Do explore the other funds covered in this series and subscribe to the channel if you find this video useful. Some quick disclaimers before we start. This is not a product sales pitch or a recommendation to buy. I'm not sponsored by anyone to do this video. Please do your own research and be clear about the product features and risks before taking any action. The information shown and mentioned in this video is accurate as of the date stated here. In this video, I will be talking about the LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund. LionGlobal Investors is a Singapore-based asset management business that was rebranded in 2008 from Lion Capital Management and is the result of the merger of the asset management businesses from OCBC and Great Eastern in 2005. OCBC is the second largest banking group in Singapore, while Great Eastern is the largest and oldest life insurance company in Singapore and Malaysia. Great Eastern and LionGlobal Investors are both subsidiaries of OCBC. LionGlobal Investors currently has about 75 billion Sing dollars of AUM, with core competencies in long-only mutual funds and ETFs across fixed income, equities, and multi-asset solutions. Given the nature of the setup, there is a notable tilt in the product offerings towards servicing OCBC retail banking business and the private banking business under the Bank of Singapore or BOS entity. LionGlobal Investors also has several collaborations with other local and overseas financial firms to launch market or thematic focused products. The LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund is a sub-fund under the LionGlobal Investment Funds fund family and is currently the only non-equity related sub-fund in the fund family. LionGlobal Investment Funds is set up as a Singapore-constituted open-ended umbrella unit trust. The fund is registered as a MAS authorized scheme, which means it is suitable for retail investors. The LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund lists Goh San San as the head of fixed income and the only manager for the fund. Morningstar also indicates the same and states that San San has been managing the fund since 2006, which is nearly 20 years ago. Interestingly, the fund prospectus also lists Koh Seok Min as an alternative portfolio manager, which I assume means backup or deputy manager. Seok Min is also the head of credit research in the firm. We can see from the bios provided in the prospectus that both San San and Seok Min have ample of fixed income and credit experience, particularly in Singapore and Asia region. The LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund is one of 3 featured funds under the Capital Preservation category in the LionGlobal website. However, it is the only true blue money market fund solution, while the other 2 are actually short-term bond funds. The fund is a pretty straightforward product, so the investment objective and details are quite minimal in the prospectus. The investment objective of the fund is to provide a return comparable to Sing Dollar short-term deposits, that is expressed using 3-month compounded Singapore overnight rate average or sora, which is the target for the fund to outperform. 3-month sora is commonly used as a reference rate in Singapore, especially for loans, so it is generally quite easy to find the current rates from public sources. Here is a year-to-date table from DBS Mortgage Loans website, where we can see 3-month sora has moved down significantly from over 3% in January to 1.45% in October. This directly impacts the Sing Dollar fixed deposit rates and Sing Dollar bond yields, so it would be expected for Sing Dollar money market funds to also have their returns revised accordingly. While this is a straightforward product, the fund unfortunately makes no effort to provide any details on the investment process. All that is stated is that the fund is expected to invest in high-quality short-term money market instruments and debt securities from both government and corporates, as well as deposits with financial institutions. There is no definition or clarification on what high quality means and also what short term means. Taking reference from other Sing Dollar money market funds, we can only assume that the fund has a similar definition of high quality being single A credit rating or better, and short-term being not more than 6 months maturity. The LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund was incepted in 1999 and is probably the oldest Sing Dollar money market product that I'm aware of. It currently has an AUM of over 3 billion Sing dollars, which is a very decent size. Portfolio information is available in the fund fact sheet but not in the fund webpage. Given the fund size is large, the fund currently holds about 53% sovereign bonds and has to diversify about 42% into corporate bonds and fixed deposits with financial institutions. As seen in the top holdings, the fund already holds significant allocations in the short-dated Singapore government bills. The same is observed in the country allocation, where we can deduce that the non-Singapore exposures are again the corporate bonds and fixed deposits. Regardless of the country exposures, the fund looks to fully hedge currency exposures back to Sing dollars to minimize FX risk. The portfolio has 100% investment-grade exposure, and there is no reason to dabble into high-yield positions for money market funds. Average credit rating is AA- due to the corporate bond positions. Weighted duration is 0.31 years, which suggests the fund primarily invests in bond maturities of 6 months or less. Weighted yield to maturity or YTM at 2.11% looks high compared to the current 3-month sora rates of 1.45%, which may be boosted again by the corporate bond positions. Morningstar shows the portfolio has over 140 positions as of end 2024. As the fund size grows, this number will also increase proportionally, as this being a money market fund, it will need to diversify and keep single issuer and single issue risk minimal. The LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund offers the retail A share class normally. The A accumulation class is the oldest share class, having incepted in 1999. The A distribution class was only incepted recently in 2024. A share classes have a 0.25% management fee. Adding other expenses gives a total expense ratio of 0.31% TER. Up to 60% of the management fee may be paid by LionGlobal to other distributors as trailer fees. Distributors can also charge up to 0.5% subscription fees for A share classes, although I strongly suggest investors to get it waived off, given the returns for money market funds are very low to begin with. Some distributors may offer the M accumulation class, which has a lower 0.125% management fee and 0% subscription fee, so the fee differences directly translate to better performance for investors. The M class was originally incepted in 2021, but closed after it was fully redeemed. It then reopened again in 2024, so I reckon it is available only to one or a few distributors. Some distributors may also offer the institutional L accumulation class, which requires a 1 million Sing dollar investment normally and has the lowest management fee of 0.1%. This would be the cheapest share class if you are able to access it. Distribution information of the LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund is provided in a separate link in the LionGlobal website that downloads an Excel file containing the full distribution history of all the funds. As earlier mentioned, the fund has only one distribution share class. It is clearly stated in the Excel file that the share class has a monthly distribution frequency. It also seems to adopt a smoothened distribution payout policy by trying to keep the distribution dollar amount stable. As a consequence of the smoothened distribution policy, the share class inevitably has to use capital sometimes to top up to the payout, which is also clearly indicated in the file. Given the 3-month sora has declined rapidly since the start of the year, we can also see the distribution amount has been revised downward substantially this year. I would expect the share class to align distribution yield to the 3-month sora rate, so investors do need to take note that the distribution yield can fluctuate significantly over time. Here is the comparison chart of the NAV versus total return for the A distribution Sing dollar class since inception. While the track record is rather short, we can see the share class pretty much pays out all the returns and tries to keep NAV at around the inception NAV of $1. There is a small decrease over time that I think is because the sora rate movement has been quite significant this year, and so the fund probably overestimated the distribution yield a little. While this looks like how fixed deposits work, investors do need to take note that they are not the same, because this is a mutual fund and there is no capital guarantee. What investors get in exchange is the daily liquidity feature, meaning investors can get in and out of the fund any day without worrying about forfeiting any accrued interest like how the fixed deposits work. For investors who don't really need this income payout, I suggest to go with the accumulation share classes. When looking at money market funds, we need to consider the liquidity of the fund as a key consideration, because most investors use them as a temporary cash parking facility, and that means putting money in and getting money out of the facility should be fast and easy. To talk about fund liquidity, we need to understand the fund order process, which comes in 3 phases. The first phase is order placement, which is the day that you place the subscription or redemption order. There is normally a cutoff time for the day, which means if you miss the cutoff time, your order will be moved to the next day instead. The second phase is order processing, which is also known as dealing day or transaction day. This is the day when the fund administrator picks up all the orders that didn't miss the cutoff time and process them accordingly. The third phase is order settlement, which is the day to resolve the money flows. For subscriptions, this is the day that your money gets debited and transferred to the fund. For redemptions, this is the day that the fund credits the proceeds back to you. Most funds today have the same settlement day for both subscriptions and redemptions. In fund industry jargon, we would normally refer the transaction day as T. Most mutual funds accept order placements to be done either on the same day or T, or 1 day earlier or T-1. Most mutual funds also settle 3 days later, or T plus 3. So following this logic, if you place a redemption order for a mutual fund on Monday before the cutoff time, your order will get processed on Tuesday, and the proceeds will be credited out of the fund on Friday. Given the orders are done through a distributor, it takes time for the distributor to process and update the information as well. So you will normally see your account get updated 1 to 2 days later after the settlement day. When it comes to money market funds, investors ideally want this whole process to be shorter so that the cash flow management can be more liquid and faster. This means an order placement should ideally be on the same day as transaction day, and that the settlement day should be less than 3 days, with just a 1 day lag or T+1 being the most optimal. So let's find out the liquidity terms for the LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund. The fund prospectus states that the dealing deadline is 3 p.m. Singapore time on any dealing day. So this is the cutoff time as well as indicating same-day processing for the orders. The settlement day is however not specified, and the prospectus only provides a generic guideline of not more than 7 business days, which is not useful at all. As the fund doesn't seem to provide the information, we will need to check at distributor's end. FSM1, or more popularly known as Fund Supermart, provides a clear date stamp for the order process flows. Here, we can see clearly that LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund in Fund Supermart has the same day or T order placement, and the settlement is 1 day later for the fund, plus 1 more day for the distributor to complete the processing. So for a redemption order, an investor will only get back the proceeds 2 business days later, which is faster than normal mutual funds and is the expected liquidity for money market funds. This is again crucial, as money market funds are normally used as temporary cash parking facilities, and investors want to be able to put money in and get money out as fast as possible. The LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund has cumulative performance chart and performance table of various time periods compared to the benchmark in the fund fact sheet. The chart is a bit messed up though, as the fund and benchmark are not starting at the same point, so it is not a correct comparison, and I would ignore it and use Morningstar charts later. I would also ignore the row in the performance table that factors in a 5% subscription fee, simply because it makes no sense and is irrelevant to the fund's performance. The table shows the fund has managed to outperform the benchmark across almost all time periods, except for 3 years. This is a pretty good track record. Here is a 10-year Morningstar chart comparing the LionGlobal Fund with two other leading Sing Dollar money market funds from Fullerton and Phillip. With multi-billions of AUM, each fund runs a slightly different investment approach and portfolio construct, leading to slightly different performance over time. Fees also have an impact to the performance, as we see Phillip Money Market Fund having the highest total expense ratio or TER, and that surely attributes to some of the performance gaps versus LionGlobal and Fullerton. Moving to a shorter 5-year chart, we can see LionGlobal and Fullerton are still on par and comfortably ahead of Phillip. I have added in United Sing Dollar Money Market Fund here that appears to be slightly weaker in performance as well. Between LionGlobal and Fullerton, although their long-term performances are near identical, there are some small differences. I like LionGlobal for its smoother performance line during 2021 to 2022, showing the fund has managed risk-adjusted returns better than Fullerton during that period. Fullerton, on the other hand, has a much bigger AUM and a lower TER, both advantageous points for money market funds. As such, I think both of them are very decent picks when it comes to Sing Dollar money market solutions. With that, let's summarize our findings. LionGlobal Investors is an asset management business under OCBC. While the overall AUM doesn't look too big, it does get ample support from the wider OCBC businesses. The fund is managed by Head of Fixed Income San for almost 20 years, with Head of Credit Research Seok Min as the backup manager. This reflects the importance of the product in the firm. While this is a straightforward Sing Dollar money market solution that is benchmarked against 3-month sora, LionGlobal provides no information on the investment process to help investors understand how the team runs the fund, which is rather disappointing. Different money market funds tend to adopt slightly different approaches to manage their portfolio exposures. LionGlobal in this case appears to have almost an even split between sovereigns and corporates exposures, and has been balancing it well as shown in the fund performance. The fund has one distribution share class and it has been keeping the NAV flat while paying out all the returns gained. That being said, I still think it would be better for investors to go for the accumulation classes instead, as money market funds have no capital guarantee. The fund has a T+1 settlement liquidity, which is good and important for money market solutions. The fund is a strong performer in its category, generally on par with Fullerton's equivalent solution and better than the rest. This is partly helped by a lower TER, but the portfolio returns are also a contributor. In conclusion, I think the LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund is a good solution in its category that checks all the important boxes, such as large AUM size, low TER, good settlement liquidity, and strong performance. It is a product that is on par with Fullerton's Sing Dollar Cash Fund and clearly better than the rest. This concludes my absolutely biased comments on the LionGlobal Sing Dollar Money Market Fund. Again, if you find this video useful and would like to see more related contents, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you and have a great day.